Well, it actually came out, and yeah, it's bad. However, I will say the movie was slightly better than I thought it'd be. To be fair though, I was watching the movie with a couple of friends and a couple more alcoholic ciders that I definitely did not sneak into the theater, definitely not. So to say that I liked this movie more than I should have is quite an understatement, so take anything that I say positively about this movie with a tiny grain of salt. To start with the positives, this movie actually managed to make me laugh a few times throughout the film. I watched A Death of a Unicorn last week, and I honestly did not crack a single smile throughout that movie. I usually have like a Stonewall Jackson face when I watch like comedy movies. I usually like don't laugh, I don't know. But for some reason, I actually laughed a few times at this dumbass movie. Now, this positive does have like an asterisk behind it because the comedic tone is all over the place and it's very jarring. The movie has some jokes for like little kids, but it also has some jokes for like a more mature audience. I don't remember what the jokes are, honestly. I saw the movie once. I'm not watching it again. It was a month ago, leave me alone. As for the other thing that I can say positively about this movie is that the visuals are actually better in the movie than they were in the trailers. In the trailers, you could just clearly see that they were using green screen effects, and in the trailer, the green screen was just so bad. It was one of my biggest complaints by far in the trailers. But yeah, the movie actually looks way better now than it did in the trailer. At least that's what I think I remember. I don't know, maybe the possible alcoholic abuse in the theater made me see it differently. But visually, I've seen worse, I think. But if I'm being honest, they still should have just animated the movie. This movie would honestly have gotten better reviews by critics and audiences if it was animated. Okay, no more being nice, time to shit on the movie now. Now, to start, my biggest complaint is honestly the casting. Now, I know everyone has been bitching about it since the fucking trailer came out, but honestly, it is really bad in this movie. Jack Black brings a lot of energy to the movie, I guess, but to cast a video game character as visually iconic as Minecraft Steve, personally, I would not have picked a bearded, middle-aged fat guy who's in a decent amount of controversy right now as Minecraft Steve. Funnily enough, I think Jason Momoa would have brought the same amount of energy to the role and would have just been a better choice. Honestly, you could just switch the roles of Jack Black and Jason Momoa, and the movie would honestly be a little bit better from it. As for the rest of the cast, I really didn't like any of them except for like Danielle Brooks. I thought she was fine. But the rest of the cast was just not that fun to watch act at all. The kids in particular were not great. They by far have the worst dialogue, worst jokes, worst character writing, and they were just so insanely generic and bland. The structure of this movie is just, it's not very good. To start, the pacing is way too fast. This movie is really breaking records right now with its Flash-like fast pacing. Like, seriously, this movie genuinely has some of the fastest pacing that I've seen in a recent movie. We don't even get that familiar at all with all of our main characters before we get into the fucking Minecraft world, and after that, the characters just stop showing or telling us what makes them special or different from one another. It feels like that we don't spend more than like 10 minutes with them, and then they go on their little adventure. It's like the movie wants it to be over more than we do. Alright, the next thing I want to shed a little bit more light on is the tone, or lack thereof. I brought it up before with the comedy, but it's honestly more noticeable with the overall movie. For example, in one scene, the main character, I guess you can call him, is building a actual, like, jetpack from scratch at a school. Something that is clearly aimed at a very young audience. Yet, in another scene, a piglin child gets murdered on screen for like no reason. The consistency of tone is just non-existent, and it's very jarring to watch. Because sometimes you feel like you're watching a movie for dumbass kids, then other times you feel like you're not watching a movie for dumbass kids. You feel like you're watching a movie for dumbass adults. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the overall writing for this movie. it sucks. It's a mess. The story kind of just decides to just make things happen. For example, Jason Momoa kind of hates Jack Black at the start of the movie for no reason, and he's just kind of a dirtbag and not a likable guy overall. But by the end of the film, Jason Momoa loves Jack Black, and he seems like a nice guy who loves everybody. And it's really, like, not justified. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. He just becomes a better person because the story decided so. For another example, Jack Black keeps mentioning that the main kid is, like, very creative, almost like he has a particular gift in the Minecraft world, and the movie does not go anywhere with it. It's like in The Rise of Skywalker when Finn keeps telling Rey that he has to tell her something, and then, like, he never does. Okay, one more example. So, at the very beginning of the movie, Jack Black gets captured by the piglins from the Nether, and they tell him that they need him to go back to the overworld to get them this thing for them that allows them to go into the overworld without turning into zombies. And they're like, okay, now you better come back to us where we'll keep you in this prison or else we're gonna kill your dog. And so Jack Black goes out there, he finds the people who has the thing that he needs, he travels with them so he can help them use that thing so they can go home, and then he can take the thing to the piglins. And like 5 minutes after he meets the people that have the thing, the piglins are like, yeah, he betrayed us. Like, bro, give him a minute. It's been 7 minutes since he was with you guys. Bro, chill. So that gives the movie an excuse to send piglins to the overworld and try and stop the good guys. And by the way, the piglins have like a potion that stops them from turning into zombies in the overworld anyways. So I don't even know why the fuck they need the thing so bad. It's so stupid. You could probably tell by this point of the video that the story in this movie is very stupid. Now, as I've seen films throughout my life, I've had quite a few people ask me, who are these movies made for? Like, for example, I think it's fair to say that some movies are made for kids, some are clearly for adults, and some are for the whole family to watch. But this movie is different because it fails to please any of those audiences. I don't know anybody who saw this movie and unironically liked it. I know plenty of people who like it ironically because it's that bad. But with that being said, I'm going to give this movie a not surprising 2 out of 10.